I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, and I want to talk about something that has been going on for the better part of like 25 years now. When the Super Nintendo and the Genesis and the arcade and all that came out, we had games like Mortal Kombat, where you had somebody who could literally grab somebody by the head, rip their head off their body, spine attached, and it at the time was considered photorealistic. Well, we know better now. I mean, it was violent back when, and companies like Nintendo even got around to eliminating the blood out of the video games, and toning things down to be less violent. And then, of course, all of your representatives and people in Washington and a lot of your parent groups started to decry the violence in video games. So, what's the truth? What do video games create violent individuals, most notably violent children? And with the rash of like school shootings and things that have popped up since the late 90s, and people are saying, oh, we have to stop violence in video games. Once again, one thing I cannot stand is censorship. If you don't like things, or you think that things need to be changed, or if you're a parent and you think that your kid doesn't need to play violent video games, the actual solution is to not wipe those items off of the shelves to where the rest of us can enjoy them, but to be a parent and not let your kids play these video games. That's the easy thing. I mean, that's what makes it good for me. That's what makes it good for everybody else. Violence in video games does not cause violence in real life. It might on just a tiny scale, but we've had violence since the very beginning. As long as humans have graced this planet, violence, even in children, has been a thing. I mean, look at the 50s, the 1940s and 50s. You had these psychologists pop up and say, oh, comic books are the ruin of the juvenile population. Comic books are causing our children to be violent. Comic books are causing this and causing that. And we all know now that that psychologist was full of crap, because what he would do is he would interview juvenile delinquents. And one of the main things that they had among all of them was that they read comic books. Comic books weren't causing it, it's just that they read comic books. And that's kind of like what's going on here. Kids see violence in TV and movies and books, at school, in video games. But video games are like that easy thing. Video games are the thing that the older population doesn't quite understand, so it's scary. And if there's one thing X-Men taught us, is people fear and hate what they don't understand. But I'm telling you, that's the thing, is we got to be careful and be able to fight for what we believe in. And if you are a video game player, if you like playing M-rated games, those adult games that have a lot of violence or a lot of, gratuitous adult themes or whatever, and you start hearing about these politicians getting on there and saying, "Oh, we're going to eliminate video games. We have to eliminate violent video games." You need to make your voice heard, because you know the best way for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. I don't know who said that, but it sounds good. But anyway, we got to fight for our rights to play violent video games. And I'm going to go ahead and say that, violent video games don't cause violence. Uh, basically, non attentive parents cause violence. Anyway, I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, and let's do something about keeping those violent video games on the shelves, because they aren't the problem.